Okay, you asked about RAM slots. What is RAM slots? The word slot simply means, okay, it means just a crack in which to put something. Here is the RAM slot. You put in a RAM stick, a RAM module, a stick like this in. Okay, this motherboard has 2 RAM sticks. Okay, it has only 2. Okay, this is where you put the RAM. You open. When you put in the RAM there is a mechanism where it pushes. It is made to push it upwards. Okay. Okay. When you put your RAM here, okay, and push it, it will push that button and close in here like this. You see, it is disappearing because it's sitting down on this side. Okay. This one has only 2 RAM slots. One, mostly they are 2 colors, and they are labeled. Like this one is RAM 1, which means another one is RAM 2. Okay, yeah, the good thing it is labeled. There's a label, okay, on it. So it will be RAM, mostly it is RAM white and white. So it is RAM 1, 2, 3, and 4. So they are zigzag kind of. They're not 1, 2, 3, 4. So they are labeled 1 white, another one, because this one will be black in most cases, or blue. Okay, okay, blue, black, blue, black. Okay, or blue, black. So they will be labeled which number, which means if you have one module, you put it in only one slot. This RAM is working. I mean, this motherboard is working, by the way. Okay, so that is the RAM slot. Okay, you stick it in there. There is a teeth for DDR2. DDR2 was maybe, DDR1 is maybe something like 15 years. Okay, DDR, something like that, like 15 years. Okay, after something like 4 years, they made DDR2. DDR means DDR1. Okay, DDR2, they made it so the slot will be somewhere here, not like there, so it will not fit in here. This, I mean, that crack. Okay, you see that teeth there, it will not be here, so it will be here somewhere. Okay, this part here is longer. Okay, this part here is longer and another one is shorter. One side is shorter and one side is longer, so you will not put it the wrong way because it will not fit in. Okay, so that teeth here, that bump here, there will be a teeth in the RAM module, in a RAM. Okay, let me try to get it. Okay, good. So at least the RAM stick is this one, the RAM module or stick or anything. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but this is the RAM slot, RAM stick. Okay, so you can see the teeth, that split there. Okay, so it is made that you cannot fix it where it does not. So this is Dell Optiplex 3010. Okay, now 3010 is was manufactured in around 2010, somewhere there. Okay, and it was RAM 3. I mean DDR3. DDR3. This module is DDR4. Okay, it has different speeds. So this DDR4, you cannot fit it in here. Okay, because it will not match. It will not match. You see that teeth is a little bit off. If you take care, okay. Okay, if you put it in here, first of all you have to open. It was not opened. Okay, it was not opened. I'm using one hand. Okay, and here you have to open. Okay, it is open. Okay, you do not have to sit it. Okay, it is open now. Opening, you sit the RAM stick in here. You see, it will sit in snugly. But because that teeth is not the same, is not at the same point, okay, it cannot sit in. You see, you see that teeth on the motherboard is here. Okay, on the motherboard it is here. Okay, on the motherboard it is here, yet on the module it is here, so it cannot fit in here. It cannot sit, yet it has reached the end there. Okay, and here, but it cannot fit because it is on the same model. This is DDR4. Okay, DDR4 starts, I think, from the 7th generation, from the 7th generation motherboard, 7th generation CPUs. So this is third generation. Okay, so that is the CPU module. This CPU, I mean, RAM slot. The slot means that crack. That is the slot. The crack, the slot, the ridge in which it goes. That is the RAM slot. Okay. Now the CPU socket. This is the CPU. It has a locker here. It has a spring. Okay. It has a spring. After putting it in here, you lock it. You release. Okay. Now removing it, you push it down to remove it. You push that spring down, the lock. Okay. You push it down and it will come up. Okay, now you see where it is locked. You see where it is locked. Okay, you see where it is. It will lock in the neck. You see that mechanism? So that's how it does. Okay, it locks in there. So it locks in there, and yeah, you lock it up. Okay, removing it, you open it. Okay, and it comes up like this. Okay, it comes up like this. So this is the CPU, central processing unit. Okay, central processing unit. In a laptop from the 2nd generation, you cannot take it out. Okay, but before the first generation and the first generation and the 2nd generation, I think. Okay, dual two core, the M CPUs, which means the first generation of mobile laptops. I'm thinking, I think mostly mobile. Okay, so this is the CPU. Okay, this CPU has a slot on the motherboard. You see that rectangle? You see that rectangle there? Okay, and you see that rectangle on the CPU? Okay, that is the direction where the CPU falls. It has to be directed there. Okay, and even here, okay, there is that rectangle here. Okay, so that is on the CPU. It is only one corner where the rectangle is. Okay, the arrow, where the arrow is. So it sits in like this. Before the 2nd generation, and these pins used to be here on the CPU. But the CPU is very, very expensive. It's expensive compared to the motherboard. So they decided to put the pins on the motherboard, so that if it bends, they bend on the motherboard. You can replace the motherboard because it is cheap. It's not expensive like this. Okay, this one is way expensive, so that's why they took the pins and put them on the motherboard instead. If it fails, if it gets spoiled, you can easily replace the motherboard because the motherboard is cheap. This one, it can be very expensive, so that this one was left LGA, land grid array. Land grid is this grid flat with contacts where pins sit. Okay, you see where pins sit? It is, so this is where the pins sit. So this one is 1155, which means 1055 pins or something like that. Okay, so these are the pins where they sit. Okay, now on the motherboard, if one pin goes missing, if one pin goes bad, okay, you'll have bricked the whole motherboard. So by inspecting it with a camera like this one, okay, you can inspect it better by using a camera. Okay, if you don't trust your eyes. So if the pin is broken or there's something like a bent pin, it will be easier for you, or using a magnifying glass. Okay, so that is where the CPU sits. If you want to sit it, because I'm using one hand, okay, you stand it up first. You stand the motherboard up first so that you don't drop it. So that when you sit it like here, so that when you sit it, you see that angle, you see that. Okay, let me just take a risk here. Okay, you see that rectangle here, that rectangle there, or arrow, you can call it arrow, and here on the CPU. Okay, you see it on the CPU, the central processing unit. That is the brain of the computer. So this is what you do. Okay, you sit it only once, only one time. Okay, you sit it in. It is zero insertion force, meaning you insert it with zero force. Zero force. Zero force means zero energy. So you don't drop it in, you don't push it down. You see how I'm holding it at an angle? Okay. So it is seated. There is a pin is sitting in there somewhere. You see that teeth? Okay. You see it here. That is the back. Okay. So it means you have timed it well. You just let it down slowly. Okay, so you see that mark there, that teeth there. It takes like 30 seconds, if more. So that is the pin, I mean the teeth, which is sitting here, and the teeth is sitting where? Here. Okay, you can see it clearly. That slot, in that teeth. Okay. So there is no any other thing, which means you cannot put it in the wrong way. So there is one, which means the number one pin. The second one is a circle, which is smaller than the pin. Then this one is smaller than that one, and the smallest is this one. Okay, is this one here, which means this is number one, big one, the big one. Okay, it has sat, it is sitting in the slot. This one is for education purposes, so I put on grease, thermal grease, because red grease, this is great for motor vehicles, for heavy machinery, so it melts or liquefies or solidifies, becomes solid at 600 degrees. So there's no chance for it to melt here, but liquid is a good transfer of heat. So therefore, if it is a good transfer of heat, it will. This is a metal. It is heat sink. You apply thermal paste. Thermal paste is just kind of semi-liquid. Okay, semi-liquid, like grease, grease. So grease consistency. It is made. It's kind of clear, just like grease. So it helps to fill in the gaps between this one and the cooler, the metallic cooler. The cooler is simply a piece of metal, of aluminium mostly. It can be copper, but aluminium is what is common. It sits here flat. So this oil grease compensates between the pits. You can see them here. It is not perfectly smooth. So it sits in between here and connecting it with the what? With the fan, whatever, with the surface of the cooler, of the cooling metal. The cooling metal has fins, like a motorcycle, like the wings. It has wings, so that it increases the surface area. The surface area the heat from here will be distributed in the surface area, by the bigger surface area. Okay, and it is able to be blown by air, and then on top of that you put on the fan. So heat will come in here through these oils, through this thermal paste. Paste simply means something like mud, kind of like mud, like a paste, like tomato paste. It simply means something which is like mud, not liquid, not solid, but somewhere in the middle, and moist. Okay, that's what it means by paste. So tomato paste, groundnut paste and stuff. Okay, so that paste will be befriending this one. Okay, will be fusing this metal here, and the heat sink that you'll put on top. so that it eliminates the gap. Otherwise, there will be pockets of air in here, okay, and air is bad conductor of heat, so heat will be transferred poorly from here to the cooler on its top. Okay, that's why they put in something liquid, semi-liquid, paste something kind of. Okay, now when you put it in here, okay, you pull this one here, like you've been seeing. Okay, you put it in, you pull it up, okay, and okay, and push it down. It's heavy kind of, okay, it's not that soft. Okay, you lock it in, finished. It takes like 15 seconds. It is so easy. Okay, now RAM slots, because this is 90, but most of the motherboards, there will be 4 slots, so there will be 4. This one has 2. Most of them, they are 4. I have not seen more. Maybe the server or something. Yeah, it can be many more, but this one is 4. Yes, I've seen computers which have 4 on this side and 4 on this side, and even 2 CPUs. That is extreme, and they can cost tens of thousands of dollars. Okay, like 70, 90 or something like that. Is it Dell Precision 7690, I think, something like that. 7690. It is expensive. It has 8 modules and it has 2 CPUs. Okay, it's like a server. A server can have even much more. So now, all right, this one is the power connector. This one is only 8 pin, but the standard one is supposed. Oh, this is 3020. It's not 3010. It is 3020. Okay, it is the one which uses 8 pin power connector. The standard one is 24. Has to be 24. 12 on this side and 12 on this side, but this one is 4 on this side and 4 on this side. That is the main board power connector to the motherboard, and it has to be with the CPU connector, CPU power connector. So it is normally 4. Okay, 4 pins. You can see power connector, CPU power connector. Okay, CPU power connector, or you can read it in whichever direction. Okay, and this is ATX power connector. ATX, you can search for it. ATX power con connector. Okay, ATX power connector, and other labels are are indicated in there. That is for the battery, CR2032, CR20 battery. So you just sit it in here. If you want to take it out, you simply press this ring, this pin. It will pop up because it is holding it in the neck, and if you were, it will jump out. This one will push it out. Okay, that battery which keeps the date and time. Okay, and other settings on the motherboard. Okay, and this is the PCIe expansion slots. This PCIe, they are like USB, universal serial bus. Universal serial bus is these slots here, where you put keyboard, mouse, other drives, and so on. Many other things. Okay, so those blue ones, that is generation 3. Black ones are generation 2. Blue ones are 10 times faster than generation 2. Okay, that one is HDMI, no, DisplayPort for connector, for screen connector for display, and that one is for display. Okay, I have done many videos about this one. The VGA 15 pin connector is for the display, and this one is for the display, the modern ones. Okay, DisplayPort. Okay, that is one is audio connector for microphone and headphone jack and speaker. Okay, so, and this one is for the Ethernet, internet on the wire, so it will blink green and yellow, kind of indicating the speed. Because I'm using one hand, it is not a comprehensive teaching. Okay, it will be green and white. It will indicate the connection is yes, correct, and then another lamp will indicate the speed of the internet connection. Okay, so that is another. So this one is made with SATA connectors, the hard drive connector for the SATA data. Okay, this one, instead of being 4, it has 3. So SATA 0 is most of the time blue, SATA 0 white is SATA 1, 0, 1, then 3, 2 and 3. So 0, 1, 2. So it has a white, blue, white. So 0, 1, 2, 3, which means 4 connectors. But this one has 3 only. So there is a space here. Maybe you can add another one. I don't know. But it depends. Does the motherboard support it? That's how it was manufactured. So it has only one SATA connector. SATA is the connection, data connection, data cable, because the motherboard, I mean the hard drive has 2 connections, for data and one for electricity, for power. Okay, now the rest of these, there are switches, USB in the front, USB power, what many other things, USBs, internal speaker, internal what, those connections. Okay, those connections here, so you can read. And even the owner's manual, and even the most of the time nowadays they don't come with books, so the books and the what, oh, there has been a front panel on this one. Okay, so this one is a switch. You can connect the switch. It does not have a map, but some have a map, so they will indicate to you what these pins are connected to. So 2 pins, maybe LED light, maybe a switch light or whatever, so they will indicate to you. But okay, now PCIe expansion slot, peripheral interconnect, peripheral components interconnect express. This is PCIe. So don't confuse slots for RAM slots. Okay, this is RAM and this is other components. These ones are also universal: peripheral component interconnect, internal peripheral component interconnect interface or something. Okay, so these ones are for adding on, for example, a graphics card. This might not be able, the motherboard or the CPU might not be having a strong GPU, graphics processing unit. Okay, nowadays they come with a graphics. Some don't have a graphics, which means you cannot watch video on this computer, but at least many of them, but they have a name which will indicate, which will be indicated. Okay, they have a name. Like if they have the letter K, it means, I think K, yes, it means that they don't have graphics card integrated. So you need a GPU, a graphics processor. So okay, the name of the CPU, can you read it here somehow? Okay, Intel, this one, Intel Core i5 fourth generation. Yes, yes, fourth generation, 549. Let me see if we can get the name of that CPU through that gunk. Let me try to clean it. Okay, let me just clean it with a piece of cloth. Wait. Okay. Please, always when you are cleaning here, from outside towards inside. I'm using one hand, remember. Okay, okay. Now it is clean. It is clean enough. It is clean. Okay, remember, this is not, you're not supposed to use water. You are supposed to use grease, or I mean what, spirit, at least spirit. Okay, but because I'm trying to show you, this is, I'm not holding this motherboard for, I mean so importantly, because it is here for teaching. But you are not supposed to use what, water, because water will drop in the what and cause a short in the board. Okay, so this CPU, okay, this CPU, you can see it is Intel Core i5 54598 is something. Okay, so core meaning Intel Core i5. You can now research which year this computer was made, because each by CPU, because each CPU, it is a generation, 1 year, 2. They are not 3 consecutive generations which share the same the same motherboard. Okay, so this one will tell you the year it was manufactured. Okay, like this one, 4590. i5 fourth generation, that is the generation. Okay, and fourth generation, that was in 2010 or 2013, somewhere like that. Okay, this is the model of this is the name and the model and the series, the what of the CPU, the model or whatever of the CPU. Then after i5, I something, the next letter is the what? Is the generation, fourth generation. Fourth generation 2013, 14, somewhere there. Okay. And the fourth generation came with DDR3. Generation second generation, third generation, it came with DDR3. Now, sixth generation, I think the seventh generation came with DDR4. Okay, so CPU will be matching with the what? Otherwise, they will not fit. The socket will not fit the CPU. So you have to know which motherboard you have. And it can be the same pins, but they don't electrically connect with each other. Okay, they can be having the same pins, but one year apart. Okay, like the Coffee Lake, that is 1511 pins, 1511 pins. Okay, socket, and the seventh and eighth generation, they are 1511. I mean 1151 or something like that, but they don't work together. They are the same pins, okay, but they don't, the same socket, but they don't work together. And if you're not careful, you might short your board. Okay, if you're not careful, you might short the board. I think you have seen the name of this one, of this CPU. It is very difficult to etch those things off. So they are written with some kind of, they are putting energy to etch them. Is laser etching or something like that. Okay. So you can see the name. That's the name. That's what is important. i5 45 something. That is fourth generation. Fifth generation will be i5 5 something. 14th generation will be i5 14 something. That will be 14th generation and stuff like that. Okay, so i5, i3, i4, I mean i3, there is i3, i5, i7 and i9. Okay, so you can see it clearly here. Okay, so that is it. That is the RAM slot now. Okay, the PCIe peripheral component. Now here, this is mostly made for graphics card. This is by 16. That is by 16 by 4 by 4. It can be by 16 by 16 by 16, depending. But this one, because this model is the lowest, this model is the lowest among their group. So these ones, they have 16, only one of 16 and 111. At least the medium level, they at least is 16, 8, 4, and 1. 16, 8, 4, and 1. Or 16, or at least there is a 4. 16, 4, 16 wiring by 4. Okay, 16 and 4 and at least 1, 1. But this one is the lowest of the lowest. So it has 16 lanes. It has 16. It is even by size. It can be even by size long, but wired as 4 or as 1, as times 1. Okay, PCIe lanes. Now here you can put a hard drive. You can put a hard drive. I mean, you can put a card where you can connect 5, 10 hard drives. Okay, because the card will have a controller in itself. Will have a chip like that. Will have a chip and whatever, and which is the controller which controls the information in and out of here. So if this chipset, if this, the mother of this whatever, the controller of this board does not support more hard drives than 3, for example, here. Okay, the card you'll put in here, it's not that expensive, can be able to support maybe five other hard drives, maybe even 10. I have seen some which are even 10 or even more. Okay, you put in a card in here, and they have connections, SATA connection. They don't, remember, they don't provide power. They don't provide power. You have to look for your power. So this hard drive will have a connector like this one, 10 of these. You see that shape, which means that is for data. So the hard drive has two connections, for data and for power. So this one here will have SATA for power. You can put a solid state drive here, but remember it will not boot. If you put a solid state here, a PCIe, it does not run that protocol. PCIe, it can run other solid state drives, SATA drives, okay, but cannot run a PCIe, and it may even not boot with PCIe. Okay, these ones here, these were for modern running. Okay, so now you can put a hard drive here, the solid state drive. You put a card and put this drive. Okay, you put SATA drive, you put a network card, or maybe network or something. So many things, network, Wi-Fi or something, Bluetooth, you can put it in here. These ones are not different. They are not much different from the USB. Okay, because these ones can be put, these things I cannot mention even here. Okay, you can put them here even in the future. You can put them here even in the future, because you don't know what they will bring in future, but they will be compatible. You put in a card here and put something else. Okay, like USB here, you can here. Okay, you can put a hard drive, you can put a flash drive, you can connect a phone, you can connect a light like this one. Okay, like this one, for example, that is a power bank. Okay, this is a power bank, but it has a light. Okay, it has a light like this one. Okay, you can, so USB, because it is using a USB thing. You can charge a phone here. You can charge a phone, you can transfer data from the phone to here, or from the phone, from the computer to the phone through here, the USB to USB-C or USB anything that you have. You can connect. So these ones here is like a USB. I mean, it's like a PCIe in terms of functionality. For expansion, this is for expansion. You can put another USB splitter, because one USB supports more than 100 items. So you can put a daisy chain, okay, connecting another USB extender, maybe ×4, which has 4 pins. You put another 4, you add it on another 4, you add it on another 4, until 100 something components. It's amazing, but that's the reality of USB. So that is how USB works. Okay, and you can, if you have got an extender, you can make this one into 100 something of items you want to add on a USB, on one single USB. Okay, if you do not have enough, or you feel you don't, or something, for fun, for research, for anything, so you can put 100 in one of these. But remember, this one is fast, which is written blue. Mostly sometimes they don't write blue. Okay, it can be not blue, it can be black, it can be red. Mostly red is ×10 or 20, okay, which is double the size, the amount of this. So, but black is in general, black and white, it is ×1 or ×2 by 1, generation 1. I mean, generation 1 of USB. Remember, there's a motherboard generation, there is USB generation, there is PCIe generation. Okay, so there is RAM generation. Don't confuse that the generation is everything for this. No, SATA 3 is generation 3 for this one. This one was, I mean, this one for the RAM, generation 3 or whatever. This one was DIMM 3, DIMM 4 or something. Something generation 3. This was generation, like I have been showing you. This is generation 4. It cannot fit in here, and the speed is different. This one, generation 4, is up to 2600 megahertz. This one is half, it doubled, and it was 600. Generation 1 was 600. Generation 1 something like 1600 or something. Generation 2, this is 2600, almost two times. Every generation is doubling, almost 2600 something, and even more. Okay, of this, that is generation 4. Generation 5 is almost 2 times the speed. Okay, generation 5, which is also very expensive. Okay, But you might use generation and one because of what you are doing, and you find that it is doing almost the same thing, depending on what things you are doing, like watching video, internet and stuff. You'll not notice a difference because it will not be generation 1 will not be different from generation 5. I have tested that. If you are doing just ordinary work, browsing the videos, drawing internet, if there is lateness, okay, if there is a delay, it can be maybe in a few seconds. It's not that significant, okay. But USB, even if it is theoretical that this is 450 megabytes, per second transfer, and this one is 5 GB, 5 GB, okay, that is 10 times faster than this, but you will not reach 5 GB, okay, you will not reach 5 GB. But if it dips together, if they go together, this one will be 10 times faster than this at whatever speed. Even if it is 10 megabytes, then this one will be 1 megabyte. I can assure you, almost there. I'm not accurate in what I'm saying, but at least you get the point. This one will be 1 time or at least 2 times slower. This one will be 2 times, at least 2 times. Sorry, like 4, 5, 8 times slower. Okay, this one will be very slow, and this one will be very fast. Even if it does not reach the gigabyte transfer speeds, I'm saying, even if it is just 10th, if it how many times this one will be slower, so many times this one will be slower. Okay, that will be noticed even with a blind person. Okay, this is Ethernet, where you connect the cable from the wall cable. And these ones you use keyboard, mostly keyboard and mouse and other things which you don't expect to do much with. You can add on a phone, maybe charging, maybe transferring just a very small file. Yeah, you can do it with this one and this one. They are not fast, but sometimes a file is just 5 megabytes and you are just sitting at the computer. You can't just do it. You can just transfer it, okay? But if you are transferring 5 gigabytes, and you will notice and you will not like it. You do it here, 5 megabytes, GB, terabyte, you will notice it and you will not be happy. Okay, and this one for video only, it only transfers the video into the screen, only the video into the screen. It does not transfer sound. This one does not transfer sound, only video. So if you use this one, the video will go into the screen, and you'll need another cable. Okay, this is called VGA. You'll need another cable to transfer sound from this. This is the speaker or this one. So you'll need another cable, a 3.5 millimeter jack to put in here to transfer the sound into the something that you want. Or you play from the sound from the microphone, from the speaker that will be in here. Okay, but for this one, DisplayPort or HDMI, this one is designed, this is new standard. Okay, they are designed to take sound or voice, whatever you call it, and the picture as well at the same time. So you need only one cable, but here you need 2 cables, or you have to give us something. Okay, that is it. So that is what is meant by RAM slots. We have seen the RAM slots, the RAM slots with this. Okay, PCIe slots, we have seen them, PCIe expansion slots, graphics card, SATA cards, SATA drives, network and what have you. You can, maybe you don't like that network, it is slower, and the station increases, the technology improves. Okay, this one is slower for you. This one, internet port, is slower for you, so you might get another network card here and add it in here, so you get another card. I mean, better speed, 2 GB, 5 GB. Okay, other than the 500 GB that you have on this one. I don't know how much speed it does, but that is what you want. So you might decide to add on a card which has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, because you don't have Bluetooth here. So you add in a card which has Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, both of them together. Mostly Bluetooth and Wi-Fi go together. So you might need to insert a card which has Bluetooth and internet. I mean Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Okay, and here you put on SATA drives, maybe 10, maybe how many you add on here. You have, these ones are not enough for you, maybe if you find that these ones are not enough for you or something like that, a graphics card here, and many other things. So these are USBs. You cannot finish the capability of this because they are for expansion. You don't know what is coming in the future, you don't know what someone might need. So these are the PCIe. And we have seen the CPU slot, which is called the brain of the computer. This is the processor and is expensive. The most expensive on the computer, okay, is this one, okay, and how you can insert it and how you take care of it and how to, okay, the teeth.